Oracles, Oracle Tim here. Well, this is the end of Tesla as we know it. I have seen many conversations that people have been having on Twitter and discussions that I've had with many of you in the comments about the earnings call and what was discussed on it. And, there's been a lot of frustration between people of, we don't want to hear Tesla talking about, robotics and Optimus and why are they going in that direction? So I took a step back and I'm looking at all this and I realized that when you look back 10 years, where was Tesla? Tesla was talking about making EVs. EVs weren't even really a thing. There was no EV space. There was an automotive industry, and making an electric car back then was just laughed at, literally laughed at. And, nobody thought anything was going to come of it. And there were so many haters out there on Tesla saying this is never going to work. You're never going to get anywhere with it. This business is going to fail. And now look at where we are 10 years later. 10 years later, Tesla is leading the industry. They have literally created the EV industry that now all of these manufacturers are either starting up to make new ones or legacy automotive makers jumping on board going, oh crap, we got to get on board with this because this is the way the world is moving. Tesla created that movement. They created that revolution. Now Tesla is at a point where they have that gear turning. The EV gears are turning for them and they are just on a freight train going forward. Now they're talking about robotics. They're talking about Optimus. They're talking about AGI, artificial general intelligence. They're talking about robotaxis. And again, we are getting this divergence in the force of people laughing at them saying they're never going to go anywhere with it, questioning, why are they talking about this? They have this EV industry. Tesla didn't get created to solve the automotive industry. That's not why Tesla was created. Tesla was created initially to solve renewable energy. And the whole reason for starting it that way is because Elon had a vision to help humanity out. And along the way, things like Optimus came to mind. And it's like, well, we can also help humanity by solving the labor issues that we have. GDP is created from labor. Well, what better way to create labor than by having a machine do what humans also can do? And you can literally create an infinite market with robotics, with artificial general intelligence. And so in the process of all this, Elon has realized that, there's so many more things we can do to help humanity out in the future than just renewable energy. And renewable energy is still number one on their list to solve. He said that on the earnings call as well, that's the reason they got into this was to solve renewable energy. So the EV industry for Tesla is just the foundation of where they're going. That just happened to be where they got their start. This is what is generating profits for them. So the only difference between Tesla now and where they were 10 years ago is they have profitability now. They have the EV industry behind them that is going to help fund all of this going forward. So if you're looking at yourself and saying, man, I wish I invested in Tesla 10 years ago, because back 10 years ago, Tesla was being laughed at. Well, guess what? Many people are laughing at them again because they want to create a robotics industry or robotaxis or artificial general intelligence that there's no way, there's no industry for that. Who's going to take it? Well, guess what? If you're a believer, then you understand where this is going. You understand that in 10 years from now, people are going to be getting on board and going, oh shoot, we need to get on board with this or else our businesses are going to go under. So you tell me, where would you want to be in 10 years from now? Do you want to be on the sidelines thinking, man, I wish I invested in Tesla 10 years ago before they got into robotics? Or do you want to be now invested in them going, I know where this is going, I've seen it before, and I'm going to be along for this ride again? And sure, there are many people who are listening to the earnings call saying, well, this isn't a very professional earnings call. This isn't what an earnings call is supposed to sound like. This isn't what the top companies sound like on their earnings call. Well, guess what? Tesla has never been like other companies, which is why they are who they are, which is why they are creating absolutely brand new ways of operating a business, because they don't do what the other companies do. And so you can't expect them to just do what people want to hear just because that's what they want to hear. Tesla is who they are. Tesla is a company who is just going forward. They don't pander to others. They pander to the future of human civilization and their mission. That's it. That's who they pander to. They have a goal, they have a mission, and they're going for it. And they don't give a rat's ass what anybody else thinks about them, honestly. They just go for it. And that's why many of us love the company, because they just do it. They don't go out there and tout themselves as leaders, they just lead. And, for me, when I look at it is, I understand both sides. And I discuss with many of you guys in the comments your understanding and frustration. And I do get it, Coming from an investor myself, sure, I would have loved to see the stock go up. I would have loved them to say, this is what our numbers are going to look like, and then see the stock go green for 3 days afterwards instead of going red. But honestly, as an investor, I'm also looking at 10 years down the road. And 10 years down the road, I now see their vision. And the problem with a lot of people on Wall Street is they want to see what's going on now. They can't see what they're talking about. Tesla talks about stuff 2, 5, 10 years down the road. Wall Street can't see that. Wall Street right now wants to know what's going on now. If you want to know what's going on now in Tesla, go back 2 years ago. Listen to their earnings calls from 2019 and 2020. Go re-watch Battery Day and AI Day. That is telling you where they're at right now. Tesla is moving so fast forward that listening to them now, you're actually listening to what the future is going to be. This isn't like hey, we're talking about what we plan on doing in the future. This is we have these things in the works, and this is what the future is going to be. There's no question, there's no doubt we are going in that direction. Think about robotaxis alone. Everybody's like, oh, are robotaxis actually going to be a thing? Heck, even the legacy automakers are talking about robotaxis as being a reality. And unfortunately for the legacy automakers, many of them are so far behind the 8-ball that by the time they get there, Tesla's going to be so far in the lead, they're going to be thinking about the next thing. Because right now, Tesla has solved EVs. So they're moving on to the next thing. And it's not like Tesla's going to stop making EVs. They just have that ball comfortably rolling, where it's moving in that direction, and they don't have to put as much time and effort and energy on the EV sector because that's already moving like a freight train. Legacy automakers and startups are just starting to figure out EVs. So by the time they all get EVs figured out, Tesla's going to have robotaxis and FSD solved. And then legacy automakers are just going to start figuring out FSD. And then by the time all these other automotive makers solve FSD, Tesla is going to have solved robotics and artificial general intelligence. And then they're all going to be behind the 8-ball on that. Many of us as investors recognize that Tesla is on an S-curve. But when Tesla talks about things on their earnings call, we recognize that they're low on the S-curve. The conversations that Tesla has are about what's going on further up the S-curve. So if you want to see what's going on further up the S-curve, that's what they're talking about. The robotics, the robotaxis, the FSD. That is what is further up the S-curve that is going to take them even further. So you just got to listen to what they're talking about because they're literally telling us what the future is going to be bringing. When you look further down the road, you realize, holy moly, we are going somewhere where no one else has gone before, just like we did 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were going somewhere no one else had gone before. And for those people who bought in back then, they are grateful and they have been rewarded handsomely for being invested back then and seeing the same vision that Tesla saw. And we are right now at another one of those moments where those people who are going to see the future and understand where Tesla is going are going to be rewarded handsomely for investing in the company now. If not, you'll be one of those people who look back and say, man, I wish I invested in Tesla sooner. And now I'm not a financial advisor. And sure, I can't see the future. Maybe everything falls apart. Robotaxis never become a thing. Maybe they don't solve AGI. But what if they do? And that's where you got to ask yourself the question of, do I want to take that understanding of Tesla has told us what the future is going to bring and have proven it and done it? Or do you want to say, I don't believe this, I don't think it's going to happen, and then step out of it? That's a decision you need to make for yourself. I know for me, I believe in them and I am investing because what I see in the future is going to reward me because of that. And so again, just remind yourself that the EV space did not exist 10 years ago. Tesla created that. And now we all see the future, and the future is going to be 100% EVs. They are now talking about robotaxis and AGI and Optimus. And they're talking about these things in a space that does not exist. So ask yourself, do you think that those spaces are going to exist in the future? Because I do. I sure do. I have seen enough sci-fi on TV to understand that pretty much everything you see on sci-fi ends up becoming reality. And because it's going to become reality, somebody's got to do it. It's going to happen. People see it, they believe that it's going to happen, and somebody will create it and somebody will make it happen. Tesla right now is leading that way. So we're going to go there. It's just a matter of time. And so yes, this is the end of Tesla as we know it. Tesla as we know it is an EV company who also dabbles in energy. Tesla is no longer going to be just an EV company. They are going to be so much more than that going into the future. And sure, while Tesla could have handled their earnings call in a different manner, it's just not who they are. And they are who they are. And I would rather them stick to who they are than try and pander to everybody else just because they want to hear what they want to hear. Tesla's going to do what they do. Tesla's going to do it well. They are going to succeed. And then eventually people are going to go, oh, you know what? Tesla talked about it. They told us where they were going. And they were right. Let me know in the comments below. I know many of you have had discussions in the comments, and I've seen many of you on Twitter as well discussing this. And again, you know, I understand both sides. I do. This is just my view on it, my insights as to what I can see in the future. So yeah, I'm totally open for discussions in the comments. Let me know. Again, I thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you all so much. Have a great one.